The craziest finish to a fantasy football matchup that I have ever been a part of got us a victory in week 15, the first round of the Flock League playoffs, and now we are in the final four fighting for the $10,000 prize. Once again, at the beginning of the video here, guys, I am going to urge you to go check out my Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast. It is called the Dynasty Arsenal. Only a third of teams are left in each and every redraft league, and that means that there's a lot of you who maybe it wasn't your year, and now we're moving over to Dynasty season, and we are going to cover everything you need to know for the Dynasty offseason over there on that podcast. This week, we did our rookie class preview, talking about the biggest names in the 2026 rookie class and some names to watch in the college football playoff this coming weekend. So if you're interested in that at all, go check it out. Links are in the description. So as you all saw in the Flock League video earlier this week, we were able to take down Thomas by the narrowest of margins. We end up winning by 0.8 points. This was the absolute craziest fantasy football matchup I have ever experienced in my entire life. To go from a 45-point bomb from Kyle Pitts on Thursday night to the final catch of Monday Night Football winning us the matchup, it was just absolutely insane. We win it 158.24 to 157.44. Starting with the quarterbacks, we had a decision: Jackson Dart versus Jacoby Brissett. We made the right one. Jacoby Brissett, against all odds, has a good game against the Houston Texans, but Jackson Dart did outscore him, and that was the decision that we needed to go our way because we would have lost if we had played Jacoby Brissett. That is going to be a theme here of decisions that we made that won us this week. Jackson Dart, it wasn't looking good for a lot of this game. The Giants couldn't really do much on offense, but he ends up with 2 touchdowns through the air and 63 rushing yards. We love that rushing floor. Across from him is Marcus Mariota, and in the video last week, it was Trevor Lawrence. And if I had to face Trevor Lawrence, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Kyle Pitts, the 3 highest scores in our league format in week 15, I don't know if I would have been able to show my face again. But Thomas pivoted to Marcus Mariota, and it paid dividends for us. At running back, Devon Achane, I talked about it. That last catch, the dump off on 4th and 3, won us this matchup. He didn't get the touchdown, which is what I thought I would have needed, but he got there through the air. 6 receptions, 7 yards through the air. And Travis Etienne, our hero this week, with a hat trick. 31.5 points, 73 yards through the air, only 12 carries for 32 yards on the ground. Not very efficient. But now with Bashal Tutin out until the playoffs, Travis Etienne is going to have the workload, which sets us up nicely because he's got a tough matchup this coming week, but the volume is going to be enough for us to have confidence in him. Across from those two, Thomas's running backs didn't do enough for him at all. Derrick Henry, 11 carries for 100 yards, exactly 10 points. And Ashton Genty under 10 with 8.2. Wasn't able to do anything against the Eagles defense. The Raiders got shut out. At wide receiver, Chris Godwin with the touchdown on Thursday night, which saved his day. We'll get to his projection going forward when we look at our Week 16 matchup. And Stephon Diggs, this is really unfortunate. 3 weeks in a row now, with the bye mixed in there, where he just hasn't done anything. Week 12, 2 for 20. Week 13, 3 for 26. Week 15, the exact same stat line, 3 for 26. He's down at 50% of the snaps or below. And this coincides with Kayshon Boutte coming back. He's been banged up all year. Obviously, Diggs has had decent games with Boutte in the lineup, but now since Boutte's been back, he's just not playing as much and he's not doing as much. And it's really unfortunate. I figured in games where they needed him more, like this Buffalo one, that he would get more work. We might have to start him and just cross our fingers and pray, but the projection is not as good as it was for the first few weeks that we had him on our team. Across from those two, obviously we dealt with the Amon-Ra St. Brown 41-point performance. This was really difficult to watch. I was raging watching the Lions just feed him and the Rams not do anything to stop him. He goes 13 for 164 and 2. I can't believe we survived this. It's actually insane. And Debo didn't really do much. That Travis Etienne for Debo Samuel and Keenan Allen trade looks wonderful. At tight end, obviously we dealt with Kyle Pitts on the other side, going absolutely nuclear on Thursday Night Football. I listed the stats in the Flock League video, but 7% of his career fantasy points came in that game, and this is also the best PPR performance from a tight end in the 21st century. Absolutely insane. The fact that, I would be a lot less giddy about those stats if we had lost this matchup. Thank God we won. George Kittle was a big part of that. 8 for 88 and a touchdown. We need that to continue if we're going to have a shot at the 10K here. At our flexes, not great. Brenton Strange didn't really do anything. It was him or Andre Yoshivas after T. Higgins got ruled out. Yoshivas put up a 0, I believe. But Brenton Strange did enough to get us over the line. Again, if I went with the Yoshivas, we would have lost this week. And Christian Watson unfortunately gets injured. It looks like he has a shot to play. He practiced on Wednesday, which is the Thursday equivalent because the Packers play on Saturday. And he expressed optimism about suiting up for week 16. So crossing my fingers on that. Rico Dowdle for Thomas had a touchdown, and then Mark Andrews didn't do anything against the Bengals. Our kicker was great. Kemi Fairbairn makes 4 of 5 and a bunch of extra points. Thomas' kicker was good too. And then the Eagles' defense, 16 points. And I would like to note that a certain defense that I have been dragged for dropping scored 4 points against Phillip Rivers. So if I still had the Seahawks and I would have played them because they're playing Phillip Rivers, I would have lost this week. So I'd just like to put that out there. The Green Bay defense didn't do anything for Thomas. They allowed 34 points to the Broncos. Nothing to really report on the bench. Jacoby Brissett obviously has a big game, and we're going to be turning right back to him in week 16. So that is how we got it done in week 15 in the first round of the playoffs. Moving on, we got to pick our opponent. If we had picked Avery, we also would have won. The Devs did score more than us, but Thomas ended up being a fine choice, and it made for an incredible experience for me. Like that Monday night game, watching Devon Achane slowly put up points in the first half, and then that disastrous third quarter where the Dolphins just weren't on the field at all. The final 10 minutes of that game were insane. Obviously, that was an incredibly boring game for anybody else, but for me, my heart rate was through the roof the entire time, and I am never going to forget that. Ever. And so before we take a look at the playoff bracket, let's check out what happened on the waiver wire this week. So a few big fish on the waiver wire, and we got some teams that have some fab left that don't want to take any of that home, so they are dumping it. The Devs pick up Michael Carter for $26. Quite a few bids out for them. I did put a claim in, but I have no fab. That's going to be a lesson learned for me. I didn't save any fab for the playoffs. I think I used the last of my fab in week 12, and it's been a little annoying having no power whatsoever with that, but nothing to do about that now. Danny Ladd gets Jalen Coker for $25. The Devs also pick up Colby Parkinson for $12. Zach gets Imari DiMarcado. Zach also gets Jawar Jordan. Nathan picks up Evan Hull. Bush gets the Falcons defense, and we pick up Audric Estime. Then a little wrinkle in Thursday's waivers, Sal picks up the Bengals defense. That was the waiver wire. Only one name for us, Audric Estime. We'll talk about him in the week 16 matchup, but let's check out the playoff bracket. So the big reveal here, we will indeed be coming up against Sal Vetri in round 2 in the semifinals of the playoffs. Obviously, nobody knows this yet, and this will be in the video that comes out on Friday morning for the Flock League. But for the few hundred of you that will see this Thursday evening before that video comes out, congratulations, you get a little sneak peek. Sal did pick myself to play in the second round of the playoffs. That means that Mason and the Devs are facing off on the other side. I get it, we are on paper the weakest team in the Final Four here, and Sal, with his number 1 seed, has every right to choose us. I will say, if there's a time to play Sal at any point during the season, it is now, and we will get into that with our matchup. And without further ado, let's head over and see what that's looking like. Here we are, week 16, the second round of the Flock League playoffs, our life on the line, and we are coming up against the juggernaut of the Flock League in 2025. Sal has had an incredible year. He's had the best team pretty much all season. The 2 running backs carrying him. He's 12-2. Most points scored by a mile. And we are without a doubt a massive underdog here. It starts with the quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett, we are throwing him out there against Atlanta. He has been incredible. He's probably not going to put up 40 points, but that's okay. There is a ceiling floor argument to be made here. I'm a massive underdog. Maybe I should play Jackson Dart with the hope of a 35, 40-point bomb if he rushes for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 more through the air, but he's playing the Vikings. It's not a good matchup. Jacoby Brissett does have a good matchup against the Falcons. And if he can give me anywhere from 20 to 25 points, that is a nice baseline for the rest of my team to build off of. And hopefully if we get a few big performances elsewhere, we'll have a shot at this thing. Currently in Sal's lineup is Brock Purdy. Now, I don't know if he ends up playing him. They have a matchup against the Colts. It's a fine matchup, but he has Justin Herbert on the bench against the Cowboys, which is a much better matchup for quarterbacks. Now, is Sal worried about the Justin Herbert hand? Herbert's projected for more points than Purdy on Sleeper. I don't know if that comes into his thinking at all. We'll have to see. I think I would rather play against Purdy than Herbert. But then again, I do have George Kittle, and any Kittle touchdown pass would only be 2 points instead of 4. So maybe the idea of Purdy canceling out a lot of Kittle stuff isn't good, and I want to play Herbert. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm sure there's an angle for both guys here. We'll have to just see what he decides. Purdy also plays on Monday, which goes into the Monday Night Sweat thing. That's not going to matter because McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor are both also on Monday night for Sal. This is going to be insane because I don't even know what sort of lead I would need to have going into Monday night to be comfortable. All I know is that I need a lead because he has Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. He might have Brock Purdy as well. I only have George Kittle. So I need a pretty dang big lead going into this Monday Night Football game to feel comfortable about taking down the Goliath of the Flock League. Our running backs, Devon Achane with an incredible matchup, but we need to talk about the quarterback situation. I could come on here and say that Tua has been terrible and it's not going to matter that it's Quinn Ewers. The reality is Tua was a very good prospect and has been serviceable in the NFL, and it seems like they just benched him because they want to move on from him and they want to see what they have in Quinn Ewers. But Quinn Ewers is a 7th round rookie. A big thing with Devon Achane this past offseason was talking about the splits with and without Tua Tagovailoa. And without him, he was terrible. And with him, he was really good. Now, that was a different quarterback, and it was a quarterback who is nothing like Tua, and so stylistically that really hurt Achane with the way that the offense was run with that backup. Now, Quinn Ewers is a lot more similar to Tua. He's going to stay in the pocket. He's not that mobile. Genuinely, the hope for me here is that even if the offense doesn't have as many touchdown opportunities, because Quinn Ewers is worse than Tua. Tua is not good. But Tua will have a job next year. I really don't have much doubt about that. He is one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league. Quinn Ewers is not. I would love to be proven wrong about Ewers, but that is just the reality of the situation right now. So the only hope for me in an offense where the touchdown opportunities are not really going to be there is that he breaks one big play, a 50-yard run against this awful Cincinnati Bengals defense, and that Ewers uses him as a safety blanket in the passing game. 10 targets and one big run here, and Achane can help us this week. But if we look at some games without Tua in 2024, we had performances of 8, 5, 2, 10. It's just not good. It's really, really bad, and that would suck for a guy who, so far this season, is averaging over 20 points per game. Now, with Travis Etienne, I talked about how it's a tough matchup, but he now has the full workload. LaKent Allen might get some third down snaps, but that's about it. Travis Etienne is going to be the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars against this Denver Broncos defense. It's in Denver. It's a tough matchup, but Josh Jacobs had a really good game last week. So we're hoping for Etienne to be able to replicate some of that. I didn't really talk about the matchups on Sal's side. Obviously, the matchups are fine for both guys. Jonathan Taylor, I hope he just has another pedestrian performance like he did last week. 13 points, 11 before that, 15 and 8 before that. He hasn't had a blow-up game since they played the Falcons in Germany, was it? And he had the 3 touchdowns. So if we can continue that, especially with Phillip Rivers, not as many touchdown opportunities, I need the San Francisco defense to perform for us. And Christian McCaffrey, hopefully, I mean, he's had 3 games under 20 points in the last 5 weeks as well. So if these guys can just chill, honestly, I think it is realistic to project that they combine for 40 or less. That would be huge. I would bite your hand off right now and take that if you offered it to me. At wide receiver, lots to talk about for us here, starting with Christian Watson. So on Wednesday, like I said, he expressed optimism that he would play. This would be huge. Jordan Love loves the deep ball. He loves targeting Christian Watson. Christian Watson's really good at bringing in that deep ball. One big play is all Christian Watson needs to have a good fantasy day. They play on Saturday. It's a shorter turnaround, but it's a really, really good matchup against the Chicago Bears, one of the bottom 5 teams in terms of allowing points to the wide receiver position. So praying he gets in there. We'll talk about options on my bench if he doesn't. And then T. Higgins, who is still in concussion protocol, but practiced in a limited fashion on Wednesday, which is a good sign. He did practice limited Wednesday and Thursday last week and then missed Friday and was ruled out. So 2 concussions in a month, not great, but there's a chance he plays and we really, really need him. It's a good matchup against the Dolphins. It should be a lot of points in this game, hopefully. It's in Miami, good weather. I really hate to say it, but I don't know if we have a shot if Christian Watson and T. Higgins aren't out there this week. And that's partly because of the receivers across from them. Obviously, Sal has the 2 big running backs, but he also drafted really well at wide receiver, George Pickens and Chris Olave, who have both been top 12 options this year. Pickens a little quieter lately. One of the reasons why I think that this is a good time to be playing Sal, along with Jonathan Taylor slowing down this past month. But George Pickens, over the past 3 weeks, 16.8 points against Kansas City, and then 8.7 and 6.3 the past 2 weeks. The Chargers are a fine matchup, but he's been having some attitude issues, maybe some effort issues. We're going to pray that that continues. Chris Olave, he's been really good, and it's a really good matchup against the Jets. Tyler Shuck likes targeting him. We just got to hope he stays relatively quiet in this game. At tight end, heavyweight battle here. George Kittle on Monday night, need a big game, need a touchdown. Across from him, the best tight end in fantasy football, Trey McBride. All we can hope for is that he doesn't go nuclear, because he will score points. Luckily, we're able to sort of nerf his points a little bit with Jacoby Brissett. Every touchdown that Trey McBride catches is only 2 points, as opposed to 6, because we have the 4-point passing touchdown, and we will be getting those points from Brissett if we play him. But yeah, we just need an average Trey McBride performance, not a nuclear one. At the flex spots, decisions to be made. Chris Godwin. I am conflicted here, and I think I need some help. This is going to be a big week with you guys in the comments giving me some advice on who I should be starting, who I should be sitting. Chris Godwin played 96% of the snaps on Thursday Night Football. But Mike Evans is back. Jalen McMillan is back. Those guys should continue to get worked in more. If Chris Godwin is ready and healthy enough to play 96% of the snaps, I imagine he is better than Jalen McMillan, and they'll want him out there over Jalen McMillan. But there's just so many targets to go around. He only had 5 in this past game. His day is saved with a touchdown. It seems like he's going to be touchdown or bust. And if we don't have a better option, then I'm fine playing him. But I don't expect big things. And then Stephon Diggs, who I talked about how it's been disappointing, I might just have to play him and hope that against the Ravens here, it's a competitive game and that they need to use him. The 50% of the snaps scares me. It's like Keenan Allen when I was dealing with him losing snaps and only being out there on 3rd down. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. I just don't really have a lot of better options. I'll get into those options on the bench, but in Sal's flex spots, Jacoby Myers, who's been great with the Jaguars. It's a tough matchup against Denver. Hopefully, Pat Surtain is on Jacoby Myers and not Brian Thomas. That would be ideal. And then Tyrone Tracy, who has been really, really good. He played 76% of the snaps last week. He's getting work through the air and on the ground. Bunch of touchdowns last week. It's a tougher matchup this week against the Vikings, but that usage is going up. I don't think he has a 20-plus point performance 2 weeks in a row, but you never know. Kickers, we can gloss over that a little bit. And then defenses, we are staying in the flames with the Philadelphia Eagles playing against the Commanders. I said if it was Marcus Mariota, I'd be really happy about this, and it is, so I am. The problem is Sal's got the Houston Texans, who are top 2 defense in the NFL, and they play the Raiders, who the Eagles just shut out. On the bench, starting on my side, Jackson Dart. We talked about him. I really just want to play Brissett because Dart, even this year when he's been so good, he's had 2 games over 25 points. So is the ceiling really that crazy that I need to throw him out there in a tough matchup when Brissett's been top 12 every week and he has a good one? I don't think so. Audric Estime, we picked him up off waivers. The sleeper projection makes me think I should play him, but we need to think about this realistically. The Jets are obviously a bad defense, but we don't know what the split is going to be like. If you guys haven't seen, Devin Neal has been ruled out. I think Kamara is a real long shot to be playing this week. Yeah, Kamara was a DNP on Wednesday. He could play. I don't know why they would play him if he's not 100%. Kamara does this every year where he misses the end of the season and they have nothing to play for. And who knows where Kamara is next year. So if Estime is the starter, maybe we get some information today on Thursday or on Friday about who the starter is. That would give me some confidence to play Estime. I think that out of him and Evan Hull is the other guy, I would prefer Estime. I didn't even put a claim in for Evan Hull. I think Estime is going to be the only viable one, but it could just be 50-50, and the Saints offense isn't very good. So not a lot of excitement there, but we have guys in our lineup like Diggs who don't need to be started. And we have two other guys, Watson and Higgins, who might just not play. And we would have to find somebody to fill in for them. Options on the bench after Roderick Estime, we got two tight ends here. Darren Waller, who I am so disappointed with because he has the enormous performance on Monday Night Football, 7 for 66 and 2 touchdowns, and he comes up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are historically like the best tight end matchup ever for fantasy football. But I cannot play him with Quinn Ewers. We have no idea how the offense is going to look. We have no idea what the touchdown opportunities are going to be, and there's probably not many is what I would predict. So it's just too risky for a guy who isn't incredibly reliable on the course of the season. We then have Brenton Strange, who didn't have a good game, but he plays pretty much all the snaps, and Denver is an okay matchup for tight ends. After I get done with this, I'm going to go to the waiver wire and list out some options over there at receiver, tight end, to see if we like any of those better as potential replacements instead of Waller or Strange. And then I have the Broncos defense on the end of my bench. Thomas dropped them coming into the weekend. Obviously, they were playing against the Packers. I picked them up because they're a good defense, and who knows what's going to happen. And what do you know? Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL, and who do the Broncos play in Week 17? The Kansas City Chiefs. So that is going to be my defense in the finals if we get there. Really lucked out with that because I didn't really have an option. It was going to be like the Giants or something against the Raiders that I was going to play. On Sal's bench, Justin Herbert, we talked about him. Nothing else of note. He picked up the Bengals defense who are playing Miami, which is a good matchup, but I doubt he starts them over the Texans. And then he's got Jaden Reed, who I don't think he puts in. I think Sal's lineup is pretty solidified the way it is, besides the quarterback position. But the numbers say it all. He's projected 20 more points than we are, and it's going to be an uphill battle. Let's quickly look at some options on the waiver wire. So just looking at guys that are projected a lot of fantasy points, well, not a lot, but the most on waivers. Trey Tucker, I'm not interested in Geno Smith or Kenny Pickett. Matt Collins could be interesting. Honestly, he gets targeted a good amount. Over the past 5 weeks, 10 targets, 5, 6, 4, 8. Now that has only turned into one game with more than 11 points, but could be an option over Stephon Diggs. I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about that. John Mechie is here as well. 5 targets, 8, 8, 7. Obviously, Brady Cook, I don't really want anything to do with that either. Parker Washington is here, only played 45% of the snaps, going into a matchup against the Broncos. I don't really want to mess with that. Chimere DK plays a lot of the snaps. He has the option for a special teams touchdown, but against the Chiefs, if you guys like any of these options or if there are any crazy sleepers that you think could be good, let me know. But there's a reason that I have 2 tight ends on my bench, and it's because the tight end options on waivers are often better than the wide receiver ones. But that's it for the matchup against Sal Vetri. The way we got here, absolutely insane, the matchup in week 15, and I'm just happy to be here at this point. There are 3 other very good teams left, and we have a shot, and that's all that we can ask for, being a massive underdog here in week 16. So that will do it for our week 16 preview. Thank you all so much for watching the series this year, and thank you all so much for supporting the fan wagon. This has been an absolute blast this season. I love this league so much, and I think so much of my passion for it comes from the fact that I know that there are so many fans, not only of this channel but of the Flock League, that are behind the fan wagon, that feel like they're truly a part of it, which is what I wanted to cultivate through this series and through my presence in the Flock League videos. And so I'm really happy that that has sort of turned out. The people asking for me to come back, the easiest way to do that is to win the league. And so I really hope that this time next week, I'm coming on here and I'm talking about a victory in the second round of the playoffs, taking down the Goliath to our David. But yeah, just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Hit the like on this video, hit the subscribe so you see the next one. And I just want to let everybody know, I am going to be making some sort of content in the new year once this series is done, once the Flock League is over for the fan wagon. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. Might be some Dynasty content, might be some season review content. We'll have to see. Let me know what kind of stuff you guys want to see from this channel. But with that, I hope that all of you left in the playoffs have some good luck this weekend. I hope you are rooting for all the players on the fan wagon, and I will see you all in week 17.